in my experience of working with creators and coaches, I have found a difference between the people that are making 20K per month with their coaching businesses and the ones who are making 100K per month with their coaching businesses. And I've seen like a lot of info businesses. I've seen people who have 20K per month. I've seen people who have 50K, 100K, right? So in this video, I just want to talk about the difference, and it's probably not what you think. It's not about the tactics, it's not about the strategies, it's not about any of that. I just want to break down like a few points so that if you want to get to 100K per month, you can do so, and you can build a 100K per month business, a 100K per month coaching business. But if you're stuck at around 10 to 20K right now and you really want to scale, these are the few points that I want you to take note of so that you can actually scale to 100K, right? Scale at least past like 30K, 50K, right? So in this, like, I can just show you the proof. Like, I've worked with a 20K per month like coaching business, and I've made $177,000, all right, with another coaching business. So this is not a video to shit on any of my clients. This is not a video to shit on anyone in general. It's just what I've noticed. So here's the 4 points that I wrote down, and this is what I saw with like all the people that I worked with, and also the people that I didn't work with. All right. So the first point that I want to emphasize is that 20K per month coaches don't sweat the small stuff, the small things, right? They're not obsessed with data. They're not obsessed with like open rates, click-through rates, conversions. Even though they know they need to track things, they still don't like track every single thing inside the business. But 100K per month coaches or info businesses track everything, and they double down on what works, right? So the first thing I want to do is to emphasize on this point by like getting you to watch this video. So let me play this video right now. But I learned this from Steven Bartlett, and this is what I basically noticed because he was also talking about this point a lot, and I read this point that he talked about in his book. What's his book? Diary of a CEO, right? So he talked about this stuff. He said, honestly, the worst advice I ever got was don't sweat the small stuff. You absolutely should sweat the small stuff. The game of business, success, and relationships and life is won in the margins. So yeah, we spend so much time focusing on trying to find big wins, major innovations, some type of breakthrough, but we overlook the simple tiny things that will in case bring people to tears. So it's like basically saying that they focus on the big things that will get the big outcomes, but they don't like focus on the small things that will lead up to like the big outcome, right? So there's this video I want you to watch. It's 3 minutes. So yeah, I will pause it. Yeah.
I was blown away of how much work you put in to that show, down to every little detail. When I walked in, everyone was so friendly. We do this interview. We talk for do the whole interview, and we went everywhere. We talked about my upbringing, my mom, everything. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I was going to talk about any of that stuff. But you did your homework and kept it moving. And on the way out, I go, oh, thanks a lot, dude. That was great. And we were leaving, and you go, here, Jimmy. And you gave me this, and I go, oh, thanks. And it's the Diary of a CEO, and it was photos of us doing the interview. And timestamps. This is me in real time. I was wearing that sweater, but that's not the joke. But I mean, these are quotes that I was saying as we were doing the interview. Someone was making this book as we were talking. And then you handed it to me, and I got in my car. I left. I'm like, started crying. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. I loved it. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You plan all that stuff?
Yeah, like I have to give the credit to our team because we have the most incredible team. But our culture is to really sweat the small stuff. And that's been our philosophy since day one. So it means everything. It means thinking about the music to play when you walked in and researching. I researched the first concert.
The Beatles?
The Beatles, yes.
Yeah.
You're a big fan of Sting. I know that the first concert you went to with your parents was A.I. Weird Yankovic.
Yes.
I don't even know who that is, but so
Weird Al Yankovic. Oh, get ready for Christmas. You're gonna get a nice
Okay, I
package.
look
You're gonna get a nice package from me. Yeah, Weird Al, my favorite first concert, of course.
I've never heard of that, but we played that. We put it in a nice little playlist, and then you walk in, and you probably don't remember this, but the first thing you remarked, because remember I had those glasses on that we were recording everything.
Yes.
The first thing you said was, "Oh my god, it smells so nice in here." So we think about the smell, the CO2 levels in the room, because that has a huge impact on both our
The CO2 level.
Yeah, there's some like crazy stats that I read a couple of years ago that if the CO2 levels get above about 400 parts per million, it's like drinking alcohol. It's like having a beer. If it gets from 400 parts per million to 1,000 parts per million, which is just me and you sat in an unventilated room for 30 minutes, you lose about 20% of your cognitive capacity. It's 21% of your cognitive capacity. But in my interviews for the first couple of years in the Diary of a CEO, we realized that the CO2 levels in the room were about 1,500. So I was like drunk for the first 200 interviews. But genuinely, it like has a huge impact. So, our game is, we think sweating the small stuff over time, if you have patience, is a much easier strategy than trying to find some profound way to win. And also with this is I think partly inspired by a study I read many years ago called the peak end rule, which is how Uber built their company. They understand that people remember the very peak of an experience and the end of an experience. So we do everything we can to make sure the end of an experience is really, really great for you. And this is, so like if you miss the flight on the way to a holiday, it's much worse than if you miss it on the way back. And people say that when they're asked. So we try and make the ending really, really good. So I'm so
What I'm
glad
talking about. It's this type of stuff on the podcast all the time.
Yeah. So you see how obsessed Stephen Bartlett is with like sweating the small stuff, because he wants a very good experience when his guests come on the podcast, right? He wants them to feel like they're like at home. He wants to make them feel comfortable, not drunk when the CO2 levels are too high. At the end of the podcast, they want to have something that can bring back home so that they can remember the experience and they feel good about the experience. So it's about sweating the small stuff. And I see this with a lot of coaches, like they don't track or they don't like sweat the small stuff in terms of like their customer experience or like tracking their data, the open rates of an email even. They just basically don't sweat the small stuff. And if you are like at 20K and you're not and you're trying to hit 100K, like you definitely have to track your data, right? And it's the game of, I heard this quote from someone today, like shout out Brian Cochran. If you're ever watching this or anyone is watching this, like watch his content on Instagram. I can link something in the description or you can just search him up. But Brian basically talks about tracking his content, right? So I think he made a Instagram story of like the 3 underrated traits of a creator, and one of the traits is data analytics, right? People don't track, or creators don't track anything. They don't track like their content, how well it does, how many followers they get, and stuff. So they don't know what to double down on. And I see this with coaches even, and the clients that I used to work with, like with clients that I used to work with, it's like mostly they have some sort of thing and they need help with their businesses, or they need help with starting an info business or coaching or scaling their coaching business, and they come to me and they just don't know their numbers, right? So if you're a coach and you're a creator and you need help with your coaching business, like link in the description, but like you need to track everything. You need to know your numbers. And what Brian was talking about is that with data analytics though, you need to the content game is about knowing. But I want to turn it around and say that the game of business is about knowing. Right? Because it's not just about content, it's about knowing every single thing inside of your business so that you can actually know what the bottleneck is, so that you can actually know what problem to solve and double down on what works. because you honestly have to know what your strengths are, right? If you know what your strengths are, you can double down on them, right? If you know what's working, double down on them. If you don't know what your problem is, and there's so many problems that you can solve, then you will just pick the wrong problem and you will fix the wrong problem that won't move the needle, instead of picking the right problem and pulling that lever so that you can actually like move the business forward, right? So you have to definitely like sweat the small stuff, and you definitely have to think about the little things that will move the needle, right? And it's all about like patience and like doing like small things that would like eventually lead up to a big outcome. That's the number one thing. The second thing is that they are not maximizing output, right? So let's say if you have like 5,000 subscribers and you're at 20K, like number one, you have a conversion issue. Like 5,000 subscribers is a lot nowadays. And you probably can close more clients, you can book more calls, you can increase the likelihood of people booking calls, or you can increase the price, right? You're just leaving money on the table. And you can be doing more in the sense of like, you can be closing more clients, you can be booking more calls. You're not increasing your output in terms of like getting more people it through the door. That's why you're only making 20K. And like I will go down, and it links to like number 3 and number 4. But yeah, you're just not like doing more. And I'm not saying that volume solves everything, right? Like Hormozi emphasizes it a lot. He emphasizes on volume like negates luck, right? So I don't want to say like volume negates luck, because like you also need like improvements, right? It's not about like doing the same thing over and over again and not improving and like doing more of that thing, right? So it's about quality, right? It's not about like quantity, but it's about the quality of your inputs and like doing more of that, right? So like you can definitely like scale past 20K if you like do more and you know what you're doing, and like if you sweat the small things and you track, right? Because like you would understand what your constraint is, right? And you will definitely know like what to work on, right? So like if you have like thousands of followers on Instagram, right? All you have to do is like the simple things, right? So if you're not getting enough DMs in through your funnel, then you have to look at like what you're doing in terms of like your content and like to the DMs, right? Like it's probably people not wanting your stuff, right? So like all you have like just bad messaging with your content, and like you like none of your followers are just like wanting your stuff. Like they're not like primed, or like they don't have buyer's intent to actually like want or buy your stuff, and they are not the right audience, honestly. So yeah, it can be anything, but like that's the point. Like you're not maximizing output, and you're not like doing more to actually close more clients and book more calls, and you're just not increasing the likelihood of you like scaling, right? So you're just leaving money on the table. That's basically it. So the third point is that you're not thinking big enough, right? So if you're not maximizing output and you're like at 20K per month, I want to like emphasize on these 2 points together. So like you're honestly treating it like a lifestyle business, or like you're not thinking big enough. And I have clients like that, right? I have clients who just think like, oh, like 20K is gonna be like kind of like what they settle in, right? They are just like chilling at 20K, right? So they just want to chill. They got like burnt out with like a lot of things. They used to do like one-to-one calls. They used to do like building like their 100K per month business and they're just burnt out, but they honestly like just like didn't structure their business correctly, and that's why they're burnt out. But yeah, there's a lot of things that go with it, but they're just not thinking big enough. And like if you want to hit 100K per month, like the mindset of 100K per month coaching business owner and the ones that are doing like 10 to 20K, like they have different mindsets. One wants to scale, and another one wants to like chill, and that's enough for them, and they just want to go to Bali and chill and like do that stuff, right? So it's not about like it's honestly about the mindset, right? The four things that I talked about here is just the mindset. It's not about like the tactics or the strategies and any of that, because like it's about your identity. And I know it's like not the sexiest thing, and I know it's not like it's the most boring thing ever, but this is what I noticed, right? So it's not, I'm just telling you what I noticed, and they're just tolerating the 20K per month lifestyle when they can be building like 100K per month lifestyle. And you just have to sacrifice that, because if you sacrifice that 20K per month lifestyle and you do more things so that you can get to 100K, you're just like you're gonna take on more responsibilities for sure. You're gonna take on like you're not gonna treat it as like a lifestyle business, right? Like you can treat it as a lifestyle business at 100K, and you can hire like people, and you can like if I mean there's so many ways you can do business, right? You can like hire more people so that you can just like have a ton of leverage, which is what you should be aiming for, right? And like, you know, get lesser profit margins, like, and stuff like that. But yeah, you can still still have a lifestyle business at 100K per month. Like there are people doing that, right? So it's all about like you tolerating 20K per month, and you can be like scaling past 100K per month, right? It's not about like you're just tolerating that mediocrity with 20K. Like you can be doing 100K, right? It's not any of the tactics. It's not about the strategies. It's about like why you not at 100K? Why you not at 50K even, right? You just have to like think big enough, and you honestly have to maximize your output, and you have to sweat the small stuff, right? Because if you know what works, what problems you have to solve, like you can definitely like scale, right? And once you understand that, at certain points in your business, you have to sacrifice things, right? So there's a lot of ways you can do business, but these are the four things I've noticed, and it's honestly like it's honestly just that. And like you can like definitely scale past 100K. There's no doubt about that. So that's like kind of like the four things I want to emphasize on, or like what I noticed. But like you like coaches at 100K are just obsessed with winning. And like I'm not telling you to not sacrifice your life. I'm just telling you that they are more serious than you, and they're thinking about something bigger than them, or they have like people behind the scenes like thinking bigger than them, and they have like an environment who's like doing more than 100K. Environment plays a lot of impact into your life as well. Like if your entire friend group is making like past 100K, 500K, 1 million per month, like you'll definitely like want to scale past 100K per month, right? So that's also another thing. It depends on the business that you want to build. So honestly, what's your goal? Because if you want a lifestyle business, you can do 20K per month. But honestly though, like being at 20K per month, like it's just like, why? Like you can be doing 100K per month and you can be like building that business, and you can be closing more clients rather than like, you know, just stagnating at 20K, you know, being at that range. Like it's not like kind of what it's not a healthy number to be at, right? So that's basically like the video I want to make. It's like kind of short, but like, you know, like that's the difference, right? I'm making this video because like, I don't want you to be at 20K. I don't want you to be at 10K even. Like I want you, or even if you're just starting out, like watching this video, I don't want you to be at that point. Like I want you to be at 100K, and I want you to scale past 100K so that you can actually like, you know, live a lifestyle, right? You can live a lifestyle, but you're also building like a better business, right? Like a lifestyle, like you can live the lifestyle business, but like in my opinion, if I were to think about it this way, if you're making like 20K for an entire year and you spend like money going to Bali and stuff like that, like you can live a decent life, but like there's way bigger impact with 100K per month business, and you're taking home like way more money, and like you can travel wherever you want, honestly, and like whatnot, and you're basically like more set to do bigger things rather than like just stagnating at 20K, right? So that's the video I want to make. If you want to connect, if you need help with your coaching business, info business, like just connect with me in the DMs. I will help you out. And yeah, like that's it for the video. Hope you got some value out of this, and comment down below on like what topics or what you are struggling with in terms of like your coaching business, and I'll gladly help. All right, so I'll see you in the next video. Peace.